Hey everybody, welcome to the Sanctus Forum. I am Michael Stewart Robb, better known as Mike, and I hope you're doing well on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is for you. Now, 20 years ago, almost 21 years ago, I spent a summer in the Czech Republic, and that's actually a good reason why I ended up, for the past 18 years, living in Europe. Now, one of the things that I discovered about the Czech Republic at that point in time, which was so different from the way in which I grew up in America, was that the Czech Republic at that time had very few advertisements just out in the cities or in the countryside. You saw very few billboards, few posters. Stores were very discreetly named. Nobody invested in just elaborate ways of attracting customers into them. It was a very, simple and therefore beautiful country in that respect, because it just didn't have all those distracting neon signs and, pictures of people that are completely irrelevant to what you're doing. You just sort of saw the buildings, you saw the trees, you saw the people, you saw the cars, and that was it. Now, the Czech Republic has changed since then. I've been back a number of times, and it has become more like, places like Germany and France and Great Britain, where you see advertisements all over the place. I want to talk more in this year about living well with God in Europe. And the first thing I wanted to do is just sort of name something that you probably wouldn't know about me, and that's that I am in a war against advertisements in my life. I just don't think they actually do me any good, or let's say very, very rarely. The amount of advertisements that I see does not amount to that amount of good in my life. And I want to start with just this thesis statement that you will be more satisfied in life if you see fewer ads. You will be more satisfied in life if you see fewer ads. Now, there's a biblical basis for that. A verse in Hebrews that I've been trying to memorize, and I always forget little parts of it. But I'm just going to read it so that I don't show off or miss some words. Hebrews 13:5. Keep your life free from love of money. And this one, be content with what you have. For he has said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. So we can confidently say, the Lord is my helper. I will not fear. What can man do to me? Now, I admit that a lot of advertisements are just benign. I mean, they're just somebody saying, here's something good and I want to tell you about it. But let's say that is probably a rarity. Just regular benign advertisements. The majority of them are not like that. They are designed to help you or try to get you to covet, to want things that you currently don't have, and honestly, probably don't even really need. Now, I could talk about this forever. Well, maybe not forever, but for a very long time. And I often forget that I actually really do try to avoid advertisements, and I realize that that's so strange. Other people just accept them into their lives, into their homes, into whatever they're doing. And I guess I realized that for years I have tried to live a life seeing as few ads as possible. And I just want to point out a couple things about advertisements and just sort of get a discussion going. One of the things to notice is that the vast majority of advertisements are not put there for your benefit. That's just look at ads and ask yourself, did the person who is doing this, did they really have my best interests in mind? Or did they have some other person's interests in mind? Indeed, altruism is not really a part of their strategy at all. They have very little interest in doing good for other people just for their own sake. They are designed to make you thirsty so that you will come and satisfy that thirst with said product. And then honestly, a lot of them are manipulative. So what they're actually making you thirsty with has nothing to do with what they're actually going to give you if you buy that particular thing. A second thing to notice is how advertisements in their placement, and that may be outside when you're walking around in public or driving around in public or whatever, or even in your home, things that might come through TV or computers or phones or magazines or newspapers or whatever, how these things actually disrupt beauty and distract attention from more important things. I mean, that more important thing may just be what it is you're doing. The sort of paying attention to the person that you're with, or just getting from A to B, or whatever it is. That may be the more important thing that's going on. Of course, it may be something more important, like you're looking up something on the internet that you need to find out for your life, and then boom, there's this advertisement that has nothing to do with that particular thing that you're looking up, and it just distracts you. And this beauty thing is a very interesting thing. Our cities would be quite a bit more beautiful if we were more strict about where we allowed advertisements to be shown and where not. And have you ever noticed how wealthy communities, wealthy neighborhoods actually do restrict what you're able to do in advertising? Even stores aren't allowed to use neon. They have to have very simple storefronts, very aesthetically pleasing storefronts. And you know what? Those people, they still figure out where they need to go to buy medicine or socks or bananas or whatever it is that they actually do need. And the third thing to look at is that advertisements often sell themselves to us as, well, we have a right to be here as well, because they make things cheaper or free. Now, television is kind of the classic example of this, where, there are these shows that cost a lot of money to make, and the actors and the directors and all these people get paid often quite a bit of money, or maybe not so much, but then they're shown to us for free. And who is it that's actually paying for these things? Well, it's not me, and it's not the people that are producing them. It's advertisers. And it seems like a win-win situation. But if you think about the fact that those advertisers, they're putting those ads on television or other things on your smartphone or on a magazine, because that stuff actually works. That's why they're willing to pay that much money to put their ad in something, is because it actually works, and you will, or at least enough people will go out and buy this particular thing that the advertiser wants you to buy. So think about whether it might actually be cheaper for you to pay for something that is ad-free. And so instead of getting the free version with the ads, you think, I'll just ignore those ads and I won't, pay attention to them. Say, well, I will pay the 5 or 10 or 20 or whatever it costs to get that particular entertainment program. Maybe it's a sports game. And I will watch it without the ads, and I will, in the end, save money because I won't be then tempted to go out and buy those products. I won't be made thirsty while I'm just being entertained and enjoying a particular program, which is perhaps beautiful, or learning about a particular thing, watching a documentary, or surfing the internet, or reading a newspaper on the internet. Well, there's a lot more to say about how I conduct my war on advertisements and try to be a person who sees very few of them. But in the end, the goal is to just be a more satisfied, or as the book of Hebrews puts it, a more content person in life, to not put myself into temptation, where I'm kind of being bombarded, often subconsciously, by things that and manipulatively by things that I don't really need. I'm being made thirsty. So try to live a more satisfied life. And well, we're probably for a while just going to have to tackle it on our own, individually, or maybe as a family. But I wish you the best in that, and let me know if there are ways that you do this, or things that I forgot about advertisements that need to be pointed out, put that in comments or send us an email at info@sanctus.institute. Oh, and there's a newsletter that you can sign up for at sanctus.institute. And then you can hear in a much more clear and calm way what Sanctus does in Europe. Well, I'll see you next time. Bye. What's up? Yeah. But if I wasn't done, you'd be distracted, right? You want to take pictures of me? Yeah. Obviously more of my head than of anything else.